In the last lesson, you learned how to make a complex half drop repeat, and you may remember that I mentioned I don't actually make proper half drop repeats very often at all. What I tend to do is make a faux half drop repeat, which is a pattern that looks like it's repeating like a half drop, but it's actually repeating like a straight repeat. So let me show you what I mean. And we'll start simply like we always do when we're learning something new, just so I can illustrate it clearly, and then you can always make things more complex as you get the hang of it. So we'll Command C, copy that red flower, and let's open a new document. So Command N is the keyboard shortcut for that. 8 by 8 sounds good to me, as usual. And Command V for pasting that red flower in. Okay, so I always start in the top left corner. I usually start in the top left corner, I should say. There are always exceptions. So what we're going to do is, let's start by copying over to the right. So double click your black arrow tool, and we'll be doing exactly what we did with our straight repeats at the beginning of this class. So over to the right, horizontally 8, vertically 0, and copy. Okay. And let's also copy these down because this top edge is overlapping. So we'll go horizontally 8, or horizontally 0 rather, vertically 8, and copy. And then it looks like we've got enough space to put one right in between. So let's go Command C, Command F for paste in front. So that just made a direct copy right in front of those flowers. And I'm just using my keyboard arrow keys to move those into position. And then the next step is I'll select, you can select everything on the left or the right, it doesn't really matter. I'll just do the left because that's kind of how my brain works. Hold down my Option key to copy all 3 of these flowers, click, hold, and drag, and you'll see I'm just dragging these into that half drop formation. And it's not mathematically correct necessarily the way that it is in a proper half drop repeat, but you'll see it looks like a half drop repeat even though it's repeating like a straight repeat. So I did not make a background color, so let's do that. You can do that first. You can add a background square at any point during your design process. It does not have to happen at the beginning. It could be the very last thing you do before the magic square. That's totally fine. So Object Arrange, send to back. Now let's copy Command C, paste in back, Command B, and take out all the color. So we're making that vital, essential magic square right now, and we'll send that to the back just for good measure to make sure it's all the way at the back where it needs to be. And if you'll remember, I told you in the last lesson that with a half drop repeat, you can't select everything and drag your swatch into the swatches palette and have a swatch that repeats in a half drop formation because Illustrator just doesn't know. But with a faux half drop repeat, since it's repeating as a straight repeat, you can do that. So I'll click, hold, and drag it over. And there's my new swatch, and let's test it out. Big square, and we'll fill it with our design, and there you go. So of course you can also select everything and go to Object, Pattern, Make, and the Pattern Options palette will pop up, and you'll just simply choose Grid. That'll be what pops up automatically. Click Done. It goes back to normal, and you'll see a new swatch. So if I select my big square, it's currently filled with the first swatch that we made by dragging it over. If I click on this new one, you'll see it looks exactly the same. So both of those methods will work for faux half drop repeats. And you can make this as complex as you want. It doesn't matter if you're using one shape or a bunch of shapes. What just matters is that you're kind of faking that zigzag repeat within your pattern tile. So we could, let's see, I'll just copy a few things over from our design here. How about that? Okay, so Command C, Command V for paste. Okay, make those bigger. You can, you know, just fill things in as you please. You can overlap things within. That can be kind of fun if one shape is repeating as a half drop, but each motif has something a little bit different going on. So let's do Command X, select that, Command B for paste in back. That is kind of a little too crazy. Let's make that white. Okay, Command X, Command B. And again, I'm just doing exactly the same things. I'm just kind of rotating, moving things around. Let's see, let's change that color a little bit. I don't have my color palette from before, so I'm just kind of winging it now. I'll hold down my Option key and make maybe another copy of that on top. Maybe another one up here, and maybe rotate that one. So you'll see this is just kind of the same stuff that we've been doing. Let's copy that, rotate it. So the more you fake that half drop formation, the more it'll look like a complex half drop repeat, even though it'll simply be a straight repeat like we've been making. Okay. And we'll make maybe one more of those. Let's reflect that one and rotate it. So you'll see I've also overlapped a few things on the bottom here. So those I'll need to move up. So double click my black arrow tool, horizontal 0, up is a negative number, -8, and copy. And it placed it on top of my flowers, which I don't want. So I'll just select those and go to Object Arrange, Bring to Front to bring those to the top of my stack instead. And this one is also overlapping the right edge, so I'll need to move that over to the left. And this one also. So I'll select both of those, double click. To the left is a negative number, so -8, vertically 0, and copy. And again, now I'll need to bring this flower to the front. So you can see it's just kind of a puzzle and moving things around in the stack. And I kind of broke my rules that I've taught you before about not overlapping things on the right edge or the bottom, but you can see it works exactly the same whether you overlap it on the top or the bottom. You just need to make sure it's on the other side in the same spot. So let's test this out. And I'm pretty sure that my blank magic square is still there in the correct spot. So let's just click, hold, and drag it over and make a big square, and we will test it out. So here's the one that we made before. Here's our new one. So you can see it's really easy to add complexity and have it still function in this exact same way. So I hope you'll play around with that. It's really fun. It's less complicated than making an actual half drop repeat. You just need to make sure that your pattern tile has space for, you know, 3 rows to do that initial zigzag, and then it will repeat like a half drop repeat visually, but be a lot easier to manage and as you're designing. So hopefully that makes sense and opens up some new design opportunities for you.